Today is July 14, 2026. In today's video, I will be talking about how I recovered what is healed and what's not healed, how my scars look as of today, and mostly of the journey. It's definitely been one hell of a year, one hell of a life, but thank God we still here, and no matter what we went through, we will still keep moving forward. As of today, July 14, I've been walking on my broken leg for 6 to 7 months, and my hand does not work like it used to. It's not all there, but it's there. By God's grace, I'm still here. That I can walk, I can think for myself. I ain't end up crippled or any brain injuries from the accident. I had my helmet on. I've been had my helmet in the evidence bag, or whatever you want to call it. I opened it for the first time today, and I realizing that my ski mask and gloves covered in blood are inside. I do plan on making a second video of the day of the accident. I was awake up until I got to the hospital, then everything went black. I'm waiting on the video from my attorney, see what I can upload then or say, but for the most part, I will be talking here about my progress and what I recollect after waking up in the hospital. So I was out for a couple of days in intensive care, maybe a week or 5 days, not sure, but when I woke up, I thought I was dead. I couldn't move, I couldn't talk. I was intubated. My uncle was sitting on the bedside with my cousin. He stands up and tells me everything's going to be fine, don't worry, God is good. And that's when I knew I was still here. Then I passed out again from the pain medications. I got injected. After 1 or 2 days, I wake up and the tube is coming out. I'm finally able to talk, but not really. My mouth was dry. I hadn't had water in days, so I kept trying to tell everyone I was thirsty, but I couldn't talk or move still. Finally, my sister understood and asked if I can have water. They refused because I haven't had water in days, so instead they gave me ice to melt my mouth little by little. After that, I'm coming in and out of surgery, so my recollection is imperfect. I know I had 11 plus surgeries. I don't know the order, but I know it was a lot, so I continue to be in severe pain day and night. The doctors will max out my dose, but I would still be in pain. I would only get 2 to 3 hours of sleep, and only when they would inject the pain medication, and then I would wake up shortly after in extreme pain again. Hardest pill to swallow is not being able to walk for so long or shower. I would have a catheter in place where they would stick a tube in the penis. They would hook up to your bladder, and then your bladder will empty out into a bag. I didn't have a bowel movement in weeks. When I finally did, it was because of the Miralax they gave me. It was not easy going to the bathroom laying down. They would put a bucket under me, which was very uncomfortable since I wasn't able to shower because I couldn't move or walk, and I had a lot of open wounds. They would use wipes to wipe me down. They would put a pump in my limbs to wash the blood and to keep the blood flowing. The main surgeries I had was my right leg vein removed, the donor from my left hand, since the blood wasn't getting any blood flow to that part. They ended up removing half of my biceps. All the bones in my hands were broken. Had that surgery. Skin grafts from my right leg to my left hand. Metal rods in my hand. Plate screws in my hand. Metal rods in my leg. Screws, pins, and plates as well. When I was finally discharged, I remember coming home in a wheelchair, still not able to walk. I had 2 choices, crawl up or crawl down. I decided to crawl down, dragged myself down. My left hand still had the rod in it, locked in place, not usable. They sent me home with painkillers for like a week, which they told me I had to see a primary doctor for a refill. Extremely hard because I couldn't really get up and go. So I would try to schedule everything in one. go, not easy, having to be in a wheelchair in and out or crawling up the stairs. Eventually I dropped my primary doctor because she refused to see me for not arriving 15 minutes before my appointment. Even in my condition, she refused to see me, so I ran out of pain medication and ended up getting THC gummies for the pain. It did help, but short term. Eventually my surgeon team refilled my pain medication weekly, but I would still be in pain through this. I would do home therapy where they would come to my home and try to get me strong again. Being in the hospital bed so long, I lost all my stamina, so learning to walk again was not easy. Eventually I learned how to take small steps again with a quad cane. Then later on, I had my hand rod removed on September 30th. I was in extreme pain. They sent me home the same day of the surgery. I couldn't move, I couldn't get any rest. So I continued to call my surgeon and let him know that I needed stronger pain medications. They ended up prescribing me oxycodone. I was finally able to get some rest. When it was all said and done, they ended up calling me 2-3 days later to tell me I had an infection in my bone. I was extremely medicated off the painkiller, so I asked the doctor to repeat himself 3 times. He finally said it was serious to come into the emergency room. I ended up waiting in the emergency room from 11 a.m. to 6 to 7 p.m. when they finally take me into a room, run tests, give me more pain medication for the pain. They end up waking me up at 5 in the morning the next day to tell me they're prepping me for surgery. They want to amputate my infected arm. I refused. I had already had multiple procedures on it. I did not go through all that just to lose it in the end, so he called someone else. This was the second time they tried to amputate my hand. First day of, then on my last big surgery I had, they ended up calling experts in infections. They had a sample of my flesh tested and found antibiotics that can kill it, but my hand was severely damaged. They couldn't put a line directly to the bone, so they ended up putting a PICC line in that connects to the heart. And in fact, when your heart pumps, it pumps the medication to your whole body. Had the line in for 6 weeks. It was removed mid-November. Then I continued home therapy up until a couple days before Christmas in December. As far as medications, I did stop taking them once I started outpatient therapy, not because the pain left, but simply because I wasn't feeling like me anymore. Taking 104 oxycodones in a month. Some days I would take 6 of the pain, 6 for the pain, but then I would be out of it, so I decided to stop the pain medication. I still be in extreme pain. Some days are better than others. I have so much going on, I space out and stop thinking about the pain. But since I stopped taking the pain medications, I think more clearly and I recognize myself. Then and after New Year's, I started outpatient therapy, where I made good progress. As of today, I believe they have done everything they could from where I started to where I'm at. Since my progress in therapy did improve, I can walk longer distance. Some days I easier with a cane. Some days the pain is unbearable to where I can't walk or stand to take a leak. I went to go see my surgeon last month to see if my hand would function again, and he was honest and blunt about it. Told me if it hasn't worked and it's about to be a year, it's probably not going to work. I asked what are my options. He told me we can amputate and get your prosthetic. Third time they talk about amputating. Once again I refused, and I asked him if there was anything else he recommended me. He recommended me to some neural nerve experts to where they can replace the damaged nerves. I haven't followed up. I will soon follow up, but before I left I told my surgeon I still have leg pain. He ran x-rays and told me your leg did not heal, it's still broken, you need surgery. He talked about removing the rod, putting a bigger, stronger rod, cutting the broken bones that did not heal, and put a transplant to close the gap. Once again I refused. He proceeded to tell me to think about it because eventually the pain would be unbearable, to come back once it hurts. He would be happy to work on it. I ended up leaving The reason I refused because I spent a whole summer in bed crippled, and I was not about to sit another summer out. So if I do decide to go back, it would be during the winter. But so far 2026 has been up. So far, for the most part, life ain't what it used to be. I'm not as strong as I once was, but I am stronger than I was after my motorcycle accident. My healing process ain't over, but we came a long way. I may not be able to run or jump like I used to, but I thank God every day that I'm still here. God is good always.
Tell her to write it down.